Well, last episode was fun. I got a new contract and got mathematically relegated in the same episode. Once again proving that I am nowhere near the most entertaining or the best Football Manager YouTuber on this platform. I mean, it's amazing I've got 22 episodes out of this, to be fair. In the last episode, we took on Charlton Athletic away from home, and in a game we had to win, we managed to lose in the 90th minute again to Charlton for the second time in a row. It left us on the verge of relegation as the last 4 games of the season were against teams in the top 6 of the table. Now, we will go through the results before I mention where I got relegated, because obviously that was going to happen. Now, we have played 3 games in between the last episode against Charlton and this episode against Bournemouth, and when we took on Sheffield United, who were 5th in the league, Gelhardt gave them the lead late into the second half, and it looked like we were going to be relegated off that result, but we managed to turn it around as Alex Samuel ran through and then equalised 10 minutes later, and then made the assist and played through Marcus Brown, who got his second goal of the season, and then fired it past the keeper to give us all 3 points and to actually stop us getting relegated for another couple of days. But Charlton wanted to win away from home in their next game, and that actually sent us down. Fantastic. We've finally been officially confirmed relegated. You'd love to see it.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed.
Damn!
Can't do it.
You can! You can do it, you can!
In the following 2 games, we lost to Watford by a goal to nil. Chucho Hernandez scored from the penalty spot to give Watford all 3 points. And then Mateus Pereira scored the pick of the goals as we were battered by West Brom in our final home game of the season by 4 goals to nil. That does lead us into our final game of the season in the Championship, and we're taking on top of the table and champions Bournemouth away from home. Fantastic. What a way to end the season. Now, following our relegation, I went to go check the social media because obviously they were going to be quite volatile again. Like, we've been relegated. It's taken quite a while to get here. And Jonathan tweeted that nobody at Wycombe seems to know what they're doing. I mean, it's taken him this long to realise that. Mate, I realised that after about 2 minutes of my first training session with this club. But you can't wait for next season when we're in League 1 and we're getting beaten by Accrington Stanley at home. We also got fined for the second time this season for ill discipline as we picked up 6 yellow cards in our 1-0 defeat against Watford. Like, I'm genuinely being serious here. I think my players were asking the ref what colour were the Watford shirts, and he just kept showing them the yellow card. And to be honest, it looks like we're probably going to break the record for the most amount of yellow cards this season anyway. Yeah, I suppose you got to make an impact in this league somehow. In what seems to be the current trend this season, another one of my strikers is going through a goal drought, so Dan Nalondolu has now gone 8 games without scoring. Although I will cut him some slack because I haven't actually been playing him up front, so I'm not sure why the media are getting on his back. Before our game against West Brom, Osman Kakai also finished his loan spell at Wycombe on a great note as he managed to get himself injured for the rest of the season with a groin strain. I've just realised that 3 things happen in my series all the time. Relegation, my players getting injured for the rest of the season, and my players not scoring goals. Almost like I'm in charge of all those situations. Music artist sensation Andrew Cole has also picked up his Continental Pro license, which also means that he can now manage Wycombe Wanderers, although I wonder why he would, because he was the one training Adebayo Akinfenwa to play as centre-back. And to be honest, Andy Cole, that is probably the reason Adebayo hasn't scored for God knows how long now. Darius Charles has also announced his decision to retire at the end of the season, which is good news for me because I gave him a contract and played him twice this season, which was an absolute waste of time. And with Osman Kakai also out injured, it meant that Jason McCarthy was my only right back. He then got sent off against West Brom, and that puts him out for the last game of the season. So now I've got no right backs. And now we move into our final Championship game, hopefully only for a season, as we take on champions Bournemouth away from home. And I've decided to change the formation again, so we've now decided to drop the 4-3-2-1 and go 4-3-1-2. The Nelson Arnie makes his debut on the series playing in the number 10 role behind Adebayo Akinfenwa, who has yet to score in 28 games for me, and Alex Samuel, who has yet to score, like 3, I think it is. Our back 4 sees 4 centre-backs playing as well, as Anthony Stewart fills in at right back for me because I got no right backs, and Sean McLaughlin plays at left back because our left backs are injured. And finally, Josh Knight and Kieran Brown will be our centre backs, and our midfield 3 is the same as last episode. Honestly, I look at that team and I think, why did I think they would stay up this season? I actually cannot believe it's come down to this. The final game of the season against a team that have run away with the league, and we're relegated, and I've got 2 strikers up front who just won't put the ball in the net. And as if for my last hurrah in the Championship, they've sent Mike Dean to referee this game. I mean, what have I done to deserve this pleasure? Although, to be serious for a second, it's a bit sad that we get relegated from the Championship because I had so much fun, going into games thinking we actually have the chance, and then within 20 minutes I regretted every choice I'd made to actually get to this point. But honestly, I just cannot wait to play next season and actually win some games because I haven't won a game on a live com for God knows how long. It took about 15 minutes for the first highlight and Bournemouth had it, unsurprisingly, and Lewis Cook found Garasabel out wide, but his shot was well saved by Ryan Alsop and he turned it behind for a corner. And then a couple couple of minutes later, Ryan Sessegnon played the ball into the box and he was pinballing all around the area. And then Anthony Stewart, who was filling in at the right back, just took out Dominic Solanke. Good start, lads. I mean, the fact that I'm playing the best team in the league without a right back is astounding in itself. Danny Loader also stepped up and then fired away the penalty. And don't ask me why his name is not Danny Loader on his player name, because I literally don't understand why that is happening. I mean, who the hell is Namasso? About 10 minutes later, Lewis Cook was involved again as he laid the ball through for Ryan Sessegnon to run through and fire it past our keeper. 2-0. Well, at least we're ending the championship season the way we started it this year, with a defeat. And then another 10 minutes later, Danjuma had a free kick from about 30 yards out, crossed it in the box, and Lloyd Kelly fired it past Ryan Alsop to make it 3-0. Honestly, ref, can we just, like, call full time now? Like, it's game over. Like, we're relegated anyway. Who cares? Although, to be fair, we are at the South Coast, so of course all my players are on the beach rather than on the football pitch. It took us about 42 minutes to get a highlight as Nick Freeman got the ball on the right-hand side and then gave the ball away. And then from that resulting turnover, Bournemouth counter-attacked us and Morgan Gibbs-White laid the ball off for Danny Loader, who forced a good save from Ryan Alsop. Nick Freeman also decided he had enough and then got himself injured on the stroke of half-time, which meant I had to send on George Moncur in his place. Really isn't a substitution that is going to frighten the life out of Bournemouth. Half-time thankfully came around and we were getting absolutely battered. I mean, there's not really any other analysis I can say about that first half performance, really. We did lose this game 4-1 last season at Bournemouth's ground, so maybe if we can actually, you know, get a goal and maybe match the result from last season, at least there's been some progress made. That progress being that we're just going sideways rather than up or down. Into the second half, and Ryan Sessegnon managed to avoid a challenge from Anthony Stewart, laid the ball for Danny Loader, who forced another good save from Ryan Alsop. And with just under half an hour of the game left to go, I decided to send on Niall Ennis for Alex Samuel, because Alex Samuel literally wasn't doing anything and Adebayo Akinfenwa really has to score a goal. And it only took us 75 minutes to actually get an actual highlight as George Moncur and Niall Ennis linked up very well, and George Moncur's shot was well saved by Sportiello. But of course that missed chance was going to buy us as Bournemouth got on the attack down the other end about a couple minutes later, and then Danny Loader's shot was blocked and then his follow-up went in. Great, 4-0. 4-0. Like, what is the point anymore? What is the actual point in this team? Oh, and if you also wanted another highlight that we had in the game, Trevor Clark crossed the ball into the box and Sportiello caught it. Literally, those are the only highlights we had all game. And that was it. We had finally ended our championship run and, well, it was a shame that we had to get relegated like this, but it is what it is. And next season, I mean, I don't want to make any promises, but, you know, we should win the league. Honestly, we should win the league. That is my forte. Getting relegated and then having a squad too strong enough for the league below, so then I absolutely dominate the league and get promoted again. It's another Proudy masterclass incoming. So after that final game against Bournemouth, Adebayo Akinfenwa has now gone 29 games without scoring for me, and that is the last game of his career. I mean, genuinely, what a way to bow out of the game. I mean, just look at those stats. How on earth is he playing at this level?
So lucky to be a part of this history. It's probably the most important day of my life.
Who's on your bread